We are in a world where anything and everything could be done at a snap of a finger. When I talk about e-business, I'm just trying to talk about the factor called as a particular methodology which is just trying to connect two businesses. What is the e-commerce altogether? The e-commerce is actually where you are trying to talk about buying and selling of goods, products or services over internet. Good morning and welcome to the fifth session of Business Environment, and this time we are going to talk about the digital economic environment. Now we are in the world of digital and digitization altogether. Everywhere around you, we only talk about mobiles, we talk about gadgets, we talk about information in different forms and format. So this session is purely going to concentrate on the digital economic environment, how the world of digital and information technology has changed the business altogether. Moving forward, digital economy is defined as the economy that focuses on digital technologies. It's based on mobile computing. It is based on all those factors that tries to encompass the basic nature of business through technology orientation. Now let me try to explain you about the digital process that we are talking about. There was a time in India when people did not know the spelling of computers because we always considered computer as an alien. We were never a kind of people who wanted to set our space altogether in the space, in the moon, and start claiming victories. We were a kind of people who used to look at the moon and tell the time and predict things, but we were not the people who wanted to start a satellite communication or any kind of digital process altogether. But post 1991, moment India started becoming a liberalized economy, an economy that started taking privatization seriously, that started moving towards globalization, automatically we also felt that the rush of technology wave that was coming inside our country. Somewhere down the lane, we started feeling that without information technology, we will not be able to survive. So we wanted India to become a technically strong country altogether. By the 1990s end, that is the early beginning of 2000, India had seen some of the biggest IT companies coming up like HCL, Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Satyam. All these companies started focusing on the information technology business, the service-oriented sector altogether, and the Indian economy started booming up to a very great extent as far as possible. Now, coming all the way from 1991 to 2020, that's the present era today, we are in a world where anything and everything could be done at a snap of a finger. Probably sitting in your home, you can just by using your remote, you can switch off all the lights, or you can probably switch on your TV, switch off your AC, start your water heater, whatever is possible. You are a master in terms of controlling all the appliances that are working around you. So what is the most interesting factor that has been happening around us? What is the reason behind this drastic change that we are seeing? The simple thing is that the need for automation. Everybody is seeking to automate their business. Everybody is seeking a methodology by which the customer is able to enhance his convenience. The way of living has to become more simplified and it has to become even more easier for the customer altogether. So digital economic environment is something which is not just concerned about using a laptop or a mobile phone, but it is getting into our culture, it is getting into our DNA, it is getting into our system altogether, where we want to become more and more sophisticated by using all kind of technology. There was a time in India when people used to write letters. That's how we have been brought up altogether, but that concept is today completely gone. Why? Because with the advent of email, with the advent of apps coming in, WhatsApp and all those kind of facility, social methodologies and the social web altogether coming into picture, messaging has become instant. Today, you don't have to wait anymore that a postman will come and deliver a letter to your home. All you have to do is pick up your phone, type the message, and you just hit the send button. The very next second, it is there in the hands of the receiver. Which means to say that business is moving at the speed of light. Every single business is trying to connect with its customers, with its clients, with its suppliers, with every single concerned person at the speed of light. And that's why when Bill Gates wrote At the Speed of Light, the book altogether, he was trying to make us understand that internet is going to be the biggest game changer in terms of doing business. It is no more that the software or the programming and coding that we are talking about, but we are talking about connectivity. We are talking about a situation where the entire economy is being supported by a whole lot of digital equipments, whole lot of digital connectivity that is making our life, that's making our activities even more compressed, even more phenomenally faster. So moving forward, let's try to understand what are the components of this digital economy. Three main components: e-business, e-business infrastructure, and e-commerce. Now, all the three things sound same to me, sir. Is that they are all same? Absolutely not. Why? Because let us try to understand the thin and minute difference between all the three components. So when I talk about e-business is more about the connectivity. E-business is more about the factor, how are we going to reach people, how are we going to make things even more acceptable in nature. That's where e-business really becomes very, very interesting, followed by the e-business infrastructure. Now that's even more important. What is the infrastructure? What is the kind of facilities that we have to connect ourselves? It's a Wi-Fi. Is it the internet speed? Is it the router? Is it the modem? Is it all that technical components that is going to come into picture? Definitely yes. Today, when you look into a mobile phone, nobody looks at it as just as a mobile phone. It is no more a communicating device, but it is a connecting device. Let's understand that differentiation factor clearly. It is not a communicating device, but it is a connecting device. Why do I say so? Because the moment you switch on your mobile phone, you are not just scrambling to look into the messages or the WhatsApp notification, but you are trying to launch yourself through the mobile. You are scrambling a whole lot of information, you get a lot of notifications, you get a lot of messages, you get a lot of pop-ups, which means to say that you are live 24/7. You are living out of your mobile phone. There is not a physical identity that is required anymore, but what is really looked after you is the digital identity that's behind you. So people are looking at you as a personality who has a very, very strong digital identity. Because your presence in the social web today, in the social media sites, is definitely being counted. You cannot live anymore by saying that I am a person who's averse to all this e-commerce and e-business technology. Definitely not. You look into any of the mobile phones that consumers have today, there is a UPI-based payment system. There is a Paytm there is a PhonePe, there is a Google Pay. Plus, there are e-commerce websites like Amazon or a Flipkart, which has become a part and parcel of the business environment, a part and parcel of every single person's life. So what we are trying to say here is that the digital economy is trying to pull everybody inside by bringing in attractive methods, easier methods of doing business, of connecting with people. So that's how I look at this component as the most powerful component that can combine the world, that can combine the people, that can combine each and every thought process and create a powerful web through which business is being done. Followed by, I would like to talk about the merits of the digital economy. What is the merits of the digital economy? It has given rise to new trends and new startup ideas. Every single startup that has happened today is thanks to the internet. That's what we can say all about. Because everybody has started thinking only through the mode of communication. You start thinking about a Yahoo, or you start thinking about a Hotmail or a Gmail, or you start thinking about every single app that you are seeing here. It might be about a social app, or it might be about a payments app, it might be about an e-commerce app. The entire factor is that these are all digitally built. They are not physically built, which means to say that the concept of innovation has always been through the digital economy. They are the promoters of digital economy altogether. Almost every single big company in this world is a part of the digital economy. You talk about Google or Amazon or Apple or Microsoft or any big company in this world, they're all being promoters of digital economy. They don't want to rely back. They don't want to just believe on this factor that the economy is going to run out of physical world, out of the physical people altogether. They've always tried to be a part of the digital economy, which is trying to connect people, which is trying to bring whole lot of new experience every day. So going forward, what is the e-commerce altogether? The e-commerce is actually where you are trying to talk about buying and selling of goods, products or services over internet. So typically when we talk about the online shopping, when we talk about the applications like Flipkart or Amazon, all these people have been a part of the online shopping. So which means e-commerce is known as an internet commerce altogether. This is where it comes into picture. On the top of it, these services provided online over the internet network. So that means they are floating, they are available all the time. Transaction of money, funds and data are also considered as e-commerce. No doubt about it, because that is how e-commerce has been built altogether in this sector. These businesses, transactions can be done in 4 ways. Now, how are they being done? Business to business, then business to customer, customer to customer, or then customer to the business factor altogether. So when you look into this ideology here, you will be able to see that they are always coming into the factor of building up an economic setup or building up a system that is more inclined in terms of getting into this factor, getting into the online factor, online buying, online going altogether. So that's why I would always say e-commerce is the most happening thing in this world, and it's really wonderful to be a part of this e-commerce website or the e-commerce world. Now, going forward, let's talk about the demerits of the digital economy. The demerits have been loss in employment, lack of experts, heavy investment. Why? Because after the digitalization that started coming inside, many of the public sector companies, many of the small companies, the kirana shops or the traditional business owners have always been feeling that they have no more job left because everything is getting done over a mobile phone or over an internet. So they are not getting regular business. Many people have to lose job. Many people have lost their jobs because of automation. So somewhere down the lane, the digitization wave has also created a negative impact altogether in the minds of the consumer. So that is where, people are saying that we don't want this digitization. We are still happy with doing the physical way of doing it. Second thing, lack of expert. Today, what is happening is because we are so much inclined to internet, to the mobile phones, to the digital gadgets, that we don't try to seek knowledge anymore. Now, let me just take a minute there to make you understand the importance of knowledge and information. Today, if people come and ask you a question that do you know the capital of a country called X or Y, you don't have to know about it. Why? What is happening is that you have a mobile phone, you immediately type that question and Google is ready to give you the answer, which means today we are not spending the time, money and energy to intellectually qualify ourselves and gather the knowledge. We don't want to be an expert anymore in terms of knowledge or intellectual. What we want to be is that just being carried away by the wave of information that's already available. So what is the biggest challenge that we are seeing in the coming era all about is that we are going to lose expertise in our own areas, in our own process altogether. So somewhere down the lane, the digitalization is going to really affect us in a big way. Followed by the heavy investment. There's a lot of heavy investment that happens because you need to buy the gadgets, you need to invest on people, you need to invest on technology, and every day when the technology keeps on changing, probably you will not have anything to sustain or fall back. So what is going to happen there? Again, you have to go back. Again, you have to rethink on the methodology that it is not happening. Things are not moving. So automatically this becomes even more challenging for each one of us. So that's why I would like to say that these are some of the demerits of the digital economy. With this, I come to the end of the session. I believe that all the information provided is of high use and resourcefulness for you. In the next session, we will be talking about the external factors of the environment. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful session.